Ces murs ont vu se succéder les plus grands directeurs de la photographie. C'est le siège de l'ASC, l'American Society of Cinematographers, l'association américaine des directeurs de la photo, dont Stanley Cortez est un des membres éminents. Depuis les années 40, Stanley Cortez est en effet l'un des très grands chefs opérateurs de Hollywood. On lui doit notamment l'image de la splendeur des Anderson d'Orson Welles, du secret derrière la porte de Fritz Lang, de Shock Corridor de Samuel Fuller. Mais c'est peut-être son travail sur La Nuit du chasseur, le film mythique de Charles Laughton, qui restera comme la plus parfaite expression de son art. Son style de lumière très contrasté est pour beaucoup dans la magie du film.
So I can be what Harry wants me to be.
I found Charles Laughton a most exciting man to work with. I learned a great deal from Charles. That Charles could do some marvelous things with people. He had a way with performers. He had a way with actors, and children particularly. When we had that, he had a marvelous way with them. And also with Lillian Gish, and also Robert Mitchum and Shelley Winters. They had a profound respect for Charles. And they had the respect only because they, too, learned from Charles.
Children.
Charles did not know too much about camera technique. He depended on me completely. And I'm not saying this with ego. That's the truth. This is what Charles wanted, because Charles did not know. And as a matter of fact, I used to go to Charles's house, where I would explain to him what different lenses would do and what the height of the camera would do, because of the elevation means a great deal. What is Claude saying? Anyway, but I used to go to Charles's home to explain these things, and I learned more philosophically from Charles than he from me photographically. Do you follow me? So it was a marvelous marriage of two people with two potential talents. Now, the picture was made in 36 days. And I would line the shot up, show it to Charles, and Charles would say yes or no. It was never no, it was always wonderful. He was very appreciative. And the same thing applied to Orson Welles, and of course to Sammy Fuller, and of course to Fritz Lang. It's the old story, if you know what you're doing, there is no trouble at all.
Tell me another secret about my dad.
Oh, no, your turn.
All right, what secret shall I tell?
Where's the money hid?
John's there.
Where's the money hid? You tell me, you little wretch, or I'll tear your arm off.
Did you have a basic idea of what you wanted to do, you and Charles Laughton, on The Night of the Hunter in terms of the lighting?
It was my concept completely.
What was it?
That's hard to explain. But what I will tell you, I mean, you say, what was your concept? It's hard to explain.
Well, technically.
When a painter paints a picture, say, what was his concept? It's his style that counts. It's what he thinks and feels and does, and what he reflects and what he has gone through life and so on and so on. You just don't make pictures with just light. There must be a reason. But then there's a sequence in Night of the Hunter, and it's a very poetic sequence. And I lit it in a sort of full-bodied way. But after hearing Bob Mitchum talk and what he had to say, I used to begin with, we'll say, about 10 lights. I designed the whole concept with 4 lights. Because the 4 lights that I used as against the 10 was the dramatic communication that I wanted the audience to get.
Harry?
Fix that window shade.
Now, when we rehearsed the scene, and when I was changing lighting,
Harry.
Charles Lawton
I was praying.
said to me, Stan, what are you thinking about? Now, I was pretty close to Charles. It's none of your damn business, Lawton. You know, in a humorous way. But he insisted. I said, Charles, I'm thinking about a piece of music right now. And he said, and may I ask what the music is? I said, Waltz Triste. Now, before I go any further, music plays a very important part in my work because it gives me the key to a characterization of lighting. Now, another thing happened all this time, and Charles turned his face red. He said, how right you are. Because the music of Waltz Triste is a waltz strange tempo. Beam, bum, da-dum, bum, 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 dee-da-da-da-dee-da-da. You know, down the line. Well, Charles was so impressed that he called, and this never happened before, he called the composer, Walter Schumann, on the set to watch what I was doing visually so that he, Schumann, can do musically. And that's how the waltz tempo was designed on Night of the Hunter.
The children know where it's hid. John knows. Is that it, Harry? But it's still here amongst us, tainting us. You must have known about it all along, Harry. But that ain't the reason why you married me. I know that much. Because the largest wouldn't let it be. He made you marry me so you could show me the way and the life and the salvation of my soul. Ain't that so, Harry? So you might say that it was the money that wrung us together. The rest of it don't matter.
Would you describe The Night of the Hunter as being a low-key picture?
I would consider that as a contrast picture, not necessarily in terms of a low key, because that was shot in a very high key, but the impression of a low key. You follow me? The expression of low key is a very erroneous expression. When people think in terms of low key lighting, they think in terms of using a very small amount of light, you see. Now, I can use a great many lights and still have a low key effect or a low key feeling. We did something Night of the Hunter, which I think is very interesting. We were at the RKO Ranch, and the scene of the little boy behind the window in the house. And we got the feeling that we should sort of dolly in to the boy. Well, it was getting late in the day, and Charles and I talked about it, about moving in. I said, Charles, I've got an idea. I think you'll like it. What I did was I used a simple iris. And by closing the iris down, just holding the boy's face, gave the impression of a move in.
Tell me a story, John. Well, once upon a time, there was a rich king who had himself a son and a daughter. They all lived in a castle over in Africa. And one day, this king got taken away by some bad men. And before he got took off, he told his son to kill anyone who tried to steal his gold. And before long, the bad men came back and...
Without the move of the light, the audience never would have been able to communicate photographically and directorially. If there was no communication visually, then you're in trouble. You see, what I'm trying to say to you is that I may have a preconceived idea of lighting or camera technique. And let me finish. I have a preconceived idea of lighting and also camera technique. But once you get on a set and you hear the performers talk, you change. You change because when you read the written word, it is one thing. And when you see and hear the written word, it's a completely different thing. So therefore, the sensitive artist will completely change his concept of the lighting scheme and the physical camera technique scheme. Am I clear on that point? That's a very important point. Never once did Charles Lawton, Sammy Fuller, Orson Welles, or Fritz Lang ever interfere with me in terms of lighting, in terms of camera setups. We discussed it, yes. And don't get me wrong, there's only one general, and that's the director.
So what all these cinematographers whose photos are on the walls, what do they have in common?
They have one great thing in common, which is a dedication to the motion picture industry. And each one, including myself, realizes that being part of the industry, we have a great responsibility. Each one is a separate character by himself. And each one has a different style. The dedication is there, and the principle of light is always there. It's a question of the usage of light and how to use it. Now, there are several names up there that I want to talk a little bit about. The first one is Leon Chameroy. Then there's Victor Milner, did many of the Cecil B. DeMille pictures. Then there's Hal Moore, who I used to assist many years ago. And there's Lee Garms, there's Johnny Seitz, there's George Folsey, and of course Arthur Miller. These are great cinematographers. We have Bill Daniels up there. We have Ernie Guffey. We have Arthur Edison, Renahan, men who have started color, men who were involved in color, men who built cameras, men who designed lenses. I'm very proud to have been part of it, if you want me to put it that way to you.